LaxFactor podcast. What's up, college lacrosse fans? You are watching another LaxFactor film review, and today we're going to profile Mac O'Keefe. I'm not going to spend a whole lot of time marking this up and stopping and starting. I'm really just going to talk through a series of highlights of O'Keefe murking people off ball, and I wanted to I've been talking O'Keefe up, and I've been talking about how I believe that O'Keefe is not just the best shooter and the best off-ball player in college lacrosse, but one of the best shooters and off-ball lacrosse players in the world. So I figured I might as well put my money where my mouth is and show you why I think that's true. So before we get into it, as always, be sure to like, subscribe, hit the notification bell. Let's try to see if we can get this video over 100 likes. So if you're watching this and you don't mind, just hit the like button for us. And as always, if you want to support us beyond that, you can go to LaxFactor.com. You can watch all of our videos there, and you can also get yourself some swag to support the channel: hats, t-shirts, coffee mugs, whatever. So let's get into it. I'm going to start rolling clips. In this first one, we're going to see he splits the defense out top. This is really just the defense playing soft out top, and everybody's eyes are on Ament, which is kind of stupid because you know Ament's about to feed. And what you end up seeing here is O'Keefe splits those two defenders. They're both sucked down a little bit too much towards the cutters, and that leaves a little bit of space for O'Keefe to fill in behind. And you'll see a lot of the Penn State offenses, cutters coming down and O'Keefe filling the space behind them. You'll see it here, cutters come down, O'Keefe is just already camped there. This is just bad D, though, because you need to know this is what Penn State is doing. Ament knows it. You'll see the cutters come. Defense kind of marks them a little. 87 out of place. In that case, too, they had ended up with two guys on the ball, and as another defender was coming towards Ament, didn't make sense, but O'Keefe filling space. Here, topside space. Defenders all way too sloughed in, as we'd say, and O'Keefe just finds that space on that backside and scorches the earth with that one. And a lot of his shots are just time and room and easy. Look at this. It doesn't get any easier than that, and then he just laces it past poor Stover. You watch that release. He has that stick tucked behind his head to the point that Stover barely gets to see the ball leave his stick here. He's not just a shooter from outside, though. He can two-step dodge. You see the defense gets there. He takes two steps, as Kark said, P. Kark said in this one. He soaks this check here and two-step dodge, scores. And I always talk about it's important to be able to two-step dodge. It keeps defenses honest. They get out there on him. They overplay him. He's going to take two steps by you, shoot, and score. We're going to see another scenario here where he can dodge. They're going to overplay his left because, as they said in this broadcast, he's allergic to his right hand. You overplay him, he can still beat you and go underneath. So where he's having a hard time getting his looks, where necessary, you hear everyone talk about how he's an off-ball guy. He has no right, off-ball, he's a shooter. He can dodge and score. The guy's just a goal scorer, and goal scorers will find a way to score goals no matter what. O'Keefe is no different. Yes, he's going to snipe you out top most of the time. And you'll see another one here. A little bit more than a two-step dodge, but it really still is a two-step dodge. You'll see where he cuts in. Those two steps in are really just to set up because he wants to go back to his left. So you can see how he even created a scenario in which he could come back to his left on that side of the field. Set him up, roll, two steps, goal. But getting back to his bread and butter after we see this one more time, two steps, goal. So he can hitch, he can roll. Once again, backside. And you can see him and Ament working that top defender, and he knows don't come too far. If he came a little bit further on this, he ends up covering himself up. But you see he purposely stays on the backside away from that defender that was splitting him and Ament, finds open space, time room, score. Same thing here, splits the defenders. Had he come a little bit closer to the feeder there, he ends up being covered. Had he stayed a little bit further away, he ends up being covered. He finds the soft spot right there, right between those two defenders, and that's the mastery of O'Keefe. That's the field awareness of O'Keefe. Where can I be on the field where no one can touch me, and I can, sit there with time and room, hands free, and get these shots off? And here is in space. He can do it in space also. Sure, he can find time and room outside, camping around the outside of zones and defenses, man-ups. But in space, this is just a regular cutter. His guy's sleeping a little. And even there, the defender's in perfect position. That's just O'Keefe being a savage. He is just able to catch a ball, control his stick, control his body, turn around, get that shot off. Here you'll see defender turns his head, backdoor cut, whoop, goal. Never stops moving, always watching his defender's head. If the defender doesn't have eyes on him, he's going to be somewhere else by the time the defender locates him again. And that's all that happened here. I mean, it's a soft transition, slow break scenario. Not even. It looked like they were content to just let it roll. O'Keefe just finds a guy sleeping. But back to what he does well. backside shooting. That's very similar to the other goal that we saw a little bit earlier where they're splitting those two guys out top, and he knows to just stay behind that defender out top. Right here, stays behind the defender out top. They can't get to him. He's just far enough away that he has enough room to just spot up and let that rip. Beautiful shot. Celebrate, man. Celebrate. And then here, just hard work. You see the zone, he's covered. A guy, the shorty there was trying to give him a little bit of grief, and he just curls off of that. He just never stops. He's constantly waiting. And you can see how easy it is for Amet here. Just watching. He knows he's getting open, finds that soft spot, goal. I mean, these guys know that this is what he does. These defenses know we have to watch O'Keefe on the backside. On man-up situations, we have to watch O'Keefe on the backside between the seams. In zone situations, we have to watch O'Keefe between the seams on the backside. Just cutting situations, we need to keep a stick on him. It doesn't matter how much of a known quantity O'Keefe is, he's always finding a way to get open. He's always finding a way to get his hands free. And it's not because defenses are bad and it's not because Grant Ament is that good that he's just elevating this off-ball player to new heights. This is the case of a ridiculously smart lacrosse player with an IQ that's off the charts, a field awareness that is off the charts, and a shot that has just been worked so much that goalies have a really hard time locating the ball coming out of his stick. I mean, you see the shots he takes and how deep he is in some of these scenarios. Other guys, even guys with cannons, don't score those shots from that deep. O'Keefe does not have the hardest shot in the game. He just has one of the best shots in the game. He's able to hide his stick behind his head. He's able to alter his release point while in the throes of a full throwing motion or shooting motion. He's able to kind of alter his stick so that you can see goalies guess wrong all the time on his shot. But more importantly, if you're a player or a coach and you want to try to see what makes this guy tick, just watch his game tape. And when you're watching O'Keefe's game tape specifically, watch this scenario, watch what happens just before he gets the ball. More often than not, you're going to see that cutters had come down from out top or from the backside. They will pull just a little bit, some of that defensive attention with them, and O'Keefe is going to find a seam in between two defenders, or he's just going to find an open spot on the backside. And you watch that and you watch how he gets open. That's the first part. How he gets open is important because that's key. And then watch how he shoots. Watch how he hides his stick behind his head, and the stick's not becoming visible until he's ready to let it rip. That makes it hard for goalies to see. So when you watch O'Keefe's tape, watch all of those things. Watch what he does off ball. Watch what he does or what happens offensively with the other guys just before O'Keefe gets the ball, because that'll help you understand a little bit better what he's doing to get open and how Penn State is running their offense to continually get this known quantity open all over the field. It's something that any team can do. It's something that any player can learn with enough watching of tape and watching for the right things. People love watching highlights. People love watching videos where they're being told what to do and there's lines up and they're telling everything. But I challenge you to don't watch the fancy how-tos and the fancy film reviews. Watch game tape and highlights of O'Keefe and then just try to figure out what's happening, because if you can start picking out what he's doing to get open and what the Penn State offense is doing to get open, the amount of field awareness and lacrosse IQ that you'll gain yourself as you figure that stuff out for yourself is off the charts. It's how I tried to learn everything as a kid, just watching a ton of lacrosse. Any lacrosse that was on TV, I'd watch it. I had a buddy whose dad taped all of our games, so we were lucky enough, even in the 90s, to have game film for every single game that we played, and he did a great job. So watch more tape, but more importantly, watch the players that you want to mirror what they're doing. And a guy like Mac O'Keefe, if you've got a good shot, if you're not the fastest guy in the world, but you got a laser and you're smart, you too can put up 70 goals, all with one hand. And on that topic, kid scored 70 to 80 goals with one hand, all with his left. And people say, how the heck could you do that? American players should be, switching hands, using their weak hands a little bit more. When I played at Broome Community College, my 1 year I played there, I scored 49 goals, every single one of them with my right hand. I did not score a single goal all year with my left because I didn't have to. I had a really good attackman across from me who was lefty, so we kind of just played on our own sides of the field, and it worked well for us. But that's how you do it. If your skill set is limited in any way, but you do something really, really well, like shooting, for instance, you can play off ball and become a deadly off ball lacrosse player for your team, even if you're not the best dodger or creator of offense. So watch Mac O'Keefe. It will help you. As always, be sure to like, subscribe, hit the notification bell, and go to LaxFactor.com if you want to watch our videos or get yourself some swag, hats, t-shirts, coffee mugs, and that's it. Oh, and today should be Wednesday. You're probably watching this on Wednesday or Thanksgiving. We'll put the podcast out, the first segment of the podcast out on YouTube, and the full podcast out on our website tomorrow on Thursday, Thanksgiving morning, so everyone can have crap to watch through the holidays. As always, thank you. Hoost is out.